questions here real quick.
Kellyanne, yesterday the Vice President and the President suggested that Democrats and Venezuela were paying for and organizing the caravan. What proof do you have of that?
Well, the President gets his daily briefing, as does the Vice President, and they've been in close touch with DHS and others to find out exactly, I guess, something you don't seem interested in, which is who is in this caravan, who's coming here. We have a right to know that.
Do you have evidence that the Democrats and
I'm not going to comment on that. Anything else?
Can you talk to me about what's expected to be a very important bipartisan day here at the White House?
Oh, you want to talk substance issues? Yay. Yes. So here at the White House today, the President will sign into law H.R. 6, which is historic comprehensive legislation to tackle our opioid crisis and drug supply crisis. It passed the Senate 98-1. Every single Democratic senator, including those who have 12 people showing up to, I guess, 2020 rallies in Iowa yesterday, all of them voted for it. Every single Democratic senator and every single Republican, with the exception of two, one who wasn't there and one who didn't, vote for it, has voted for this legislation because this is the crisis next door. It doesn't discriminate by age or gender or race or geography or socioeconomic status or political affiliation. H.R. 6 provides many different features. I'll just go over a few quickly. The STOP Act means that our U.S. Postal Service will now share with Customs and Border Patrol more advanced electronic data, the sender, the recipient, the contents of a package. This should cut down almost immediately the suspicious packages coming in from places like Mexico and China that contain illicit opioids like fentanyl. It also increases Medicaid funding, or the use of Medicaid dollars, for neonatal abstinence syndrome babies. We have 150 babies being born in this country every day struggling for their first breaths, or already chemically dependent. It's best to keep the mother and the baby together, and this will help. The First Lady has truly elevated this issue into the national consciousness. Also, there's more money in there for workforce development and participation because we have a whole of government approach trying to treat the whole person. We recognize that if you're fortunate enough to go into a treatment program or a drug court and you emerge on the other side, sometimes there's no employment, there's no education, there's no skills training, there's no housing. So we're really trying to connect people with that as well. Also today we're going to have commitments from 21 private sector entities. They're making their offers to America. Some of the major retailers, tech companies, Cigna Health is coming to announce a new initiative with veterans. Red Cross is going to train 3 million additional Americans on how to help people who are overdosing or how to spot the signs. So it's a really exciting day here at the White House, signing historic legislation, showing the progress that the cabinet departments and agencies have had over the last year and a half of this, and then, of course, accepting very gratefully and graciously offers from private, nonprofit, and for-profit corporate American entities.
Tax cuts. The president said yesterday that a resolution could be coming in the coming days, that Kevin Brady was working on it, but Kevin Brady said that they still need weeks with the White House and the Treasury, while Larry Kudlow said that anything that could happen here could take a while. Seems like a pretty wide gap there. What's the reality?
The reality is that the president sees the tremendous benefits and economic boom from the original Tax Cut and Jobs Act that was signed into law last December. And he sees close to 8 million Americans receiving bonuses or raises or both, the unbelievable repatriation of billions and ultimately trillions of dollars of wealth from overseas where it was legally parked, that the corporate tax rate going from 35% to 21% has meant that these employers are investing in the workplace and the workforce, that people don't just have job availability now or even job security, they have job mobility. I talk to people every day who say, I can choose a job closer to home so I can be with the family, I can see my kids in the morning, or this one has a better benefits package. So this president wants to continue to reduce the tax burden on middle-class families. Obviously, the chairman of Ways and Means, Kevin Brady, would be working on it. Larry Kudlow has said this president loves to cut taxes and reduce the burden on middle-class families. They also got a big boon through the child care tax credit and through some of the other benefits of this particular last tax cut. The expansion of the 529s, which didn't get a lot of coverage, allowing people to invest tax-free in education starting younger in their children's.
Are we talking about days, weeks, or months here, though?
That really depends on the process. But don't miss the essential point, which is that this president is not yet done not tired of winning, and not tired of winning on behalf of the middle class, thinks that they deserve a permanent tax cut. And let me just politely remind you, not a single Democrat voted for the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act because they said that the corporate America would never reinvest in their employees, and they did exactly that. It has spurred an economic boom, historic levels of small business and manufacturing and consumer confidence, growth rates that are double what the previous president told us was the new normal of 2% or less, wage growth among blue-collar workers like where I grew up, and expanding opportunities in vocational and technical education and skills training. I mean, it's exciting everywhere you turn. The economic numbers are up, including for female employment, African American, Hispanic, Asian American, disabled Americans, teenagers. I hope my two are watching. They're being employed again now, and certainly our veterans are increasingly employed. So the president sees it works and wants to go back and hopefully this time have some Democratic support also. Hopefully they've seen literally the benefits and the riches that have come to this to their constituents.
Kellyanne, illegal immigration is an important issue, obviously, but isn't it simply fear-mongering for the president to say there are Middle Easterners in the caravan when he admits he has no proof to support that?
No, I saw that fear is one of your Sesame Grover words of the day, I guess, in the last 2 weeks. Excuse me, half of the DHS says over 500,000 people tried to come over the border illegally in this last year. It's a very serious issue.
The president said there were Middle Easterners in the caravan. He acknowledges
DHS says that they...
Why isn't that simply fear-mongering?
Well, you're asking me three different things, but let's get back. No, you're not. No, you're not. Let's get back. You want to ask about this caravan? Because you talked about illegal immigration. Who's in the caravan? Who's in the caravan? Why aren't the Democrats with the caravan? Why aren't they talking about the caravan? Where are they? This president invited them all into the cabinet room last January and said he would make a deal on the Dreamers. And they choked on their own disbelief and left, because they couldn't believe that this president was actually going to make good on a promise of several presidents. But he also wants to end chain migration. He also wants to end the visa lottery system. He also wants to build the wall so that we can be a sovereign nation with physical borders. And don't you want to know who's coming into this country? Don't you want to know if these Hondurans have been promised things that by coyotes who have taken their money and put them on this treacherous journey northward? Don't you want to know that every male who's holding a little girl's hand is in fact her father or her guardian? I want to know. Because if there's one in there who's not her father or her guardian, I want to know, because she's in danger and you ought to care about it. He's doing something about it now. We're trying to raise awareness. It'd be great if you'd shine a light on it, and thank you for doing that, because I'm very concerned about the drug smuggling, the children smuggling. I've seen the statistics where we have a surge in sexual assaults on that journey. You should all be very concerned about this, folks. It's not a political issue. And I'm with President Trump in 2018, and I'm with then Senator Obama, who I guess had presidential aspirations in 2005. If you go back and you roll that tape, I bet if you put in one of your polling questions, if you said, do you agree or disagree with the following, and who do you think said it, people would be very confused. They'd probably think that President Trump had said it, and meanwhile it was Senator Obama.
And is the president taking any specific action? He's threatened troops, he's threatened to declare a national emergency, but he hasn't done any of these things.
The president will make that announcement. The president is certainly discussing different options because everybody's very concerned. Mexico has tried to be very cooperative. We're trying to get these three countries in the Northern Triangle to also be cooperative and to keep good relations with these countries and to really make sure that people understand the breadth of the president's immigration policy. It's been 1 year since he presented to Congress his 70-point immigration plan. I can't think of anybody who's more specific about immigration than the President of the United States. Then he boiled it down to 4 points for those who couldn't absorb or didn't feel like reading all 70. That didn't even get done. So this president agrees with lots of Democrats like Harry Reid and Chuck Schumer and Barack Obama, who in the past sounded a lot like Donald Trump on immigration. And all that's changed is we actually have a president who sits here in this building now who's willing to take action on it. And you'll see what he has to do. But again, thanks for showing the caravan, because I think America has a right, in the interest of transparency and accountability and information, to see what's happening.
Kellyanne, any update on the Khashoggi case? Has the president
ever discussed replacing Jay Powell, or is he just simply frustrated with it?
I've never heard the president say that.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Can you talk about the briefing that the president's going to get?
Any other questions?
Khashoggi is
CIA director going to brief the president on the findings from Turkey? Can you elaborate on it?
Well, you heard Secretary of State Pompeo, and you also know that Director Haspel has been sent over to Turkey, and the president made, I think, the strongest remarks to date yesterday in the Oval Office. You've all covered them, and you should cover them. He called it the worst cover-up. You can quote the president on that, and until we get all of the information, I certainly won't get ahead of the president on that.
Thank you.
Has the military been asked to step in